All right, good morning, everybody. It is Jay again, and it is finally spring. Spring has finally sprung, and man, it has been a long winter around here, and by long winter, I mean about a month and a half. So, our winter is not very long here, guys. So, if you're wanting trees that don't go dormant, that's fine. But if you want trees that do go dormant, realize that they're only dormant for about a month and a half to 2 months. It's not really cold enough here to keep them permanently disabled. Okay, guys? So, it's not that long before you start to get some activity on these guys. And yeah, it has been a long winter for me. And by that, I mean, that's when I get most of my work done. And a lot of the nursery work done is over the winter. So I'm usually not doing a lot of videos or very active during that time period because, like I said, I'm trying to get all of this prepared for you guys to be able to start creating your own food forest. All right. So yeah, everything is waking up. Everything is starting to push growth and things are starting to flower and bloom. But what are we going to be talking about today? Today we are going to be talking about the top 5 fruit trees to get your food forest started, okay? So this video may not be for those of you that are a little bit more advanced into this. This is going to be a little bit more for the beginners, okay? So this video, we're going to go over 5 fruit trees that the average person can start with here and have success. They'll make it through the summer and they'll make it through the winter. And I'll also tell you this, if you never watered these trees at all, they would probably still survive, but don't expect them to put on this amount of fruit if you're not giving them good water and good food. Okay? So let's get right into the video. And we are going to start right here with number 1 since I am the closest to this one. And this happens to be one of my favorites and has beautiful blooms and can survive the full summer here in Arizona or any desert climate that you're in. So these 5 trees are going to be for desert climates, guys. This covers a large swath of the world because a large swath of the world is actually desert, okay? So when you've got really productive plants like this that will produce in our environments, which are hot and dry, well, then these are definitely the ones you're gonna wanna start with. So we're gonna start right here with number 1. And number 1, believe it or not, is going to be pear trees. Pear trees are one of the most resilient fruit trees that you could possibly plant in the desert, which it may seem counterintuitive to what it is because you think pears require so much cold. Love is in the air. See all the bees out here pollinating? And you also want some pollination for the rest of your plants, right? So something like pears are really gonna flag in the bees. And so this is probably one of the best choices for Arizona, and it's also getting you a beautiful tree. Okay, so you're getting a twofer here, right? You're getting fruit and you're getting a beautiful tree that is very easy to grow here, and you can actually put this in the full sun. This will not play in the shade, believe it or not. You can't shade a pear tree. They have to be in the full sun. So guess what we have here, or most of you have here? Full sun. A lot of you are starting with blank canvases. Nothing in the backyard at all whatsoever. So if I can highly suggest any plant here, this would probably be actually my number 1, believe it or not. This would be my number 1 because this gives you the beauty and the fruit. Okay, now let's jump right into number 2 since we are very, very close to those trees also. So number 2, although it's not going to give you the same blooms and quite the same beauty as the pear trees, is going to be the mulberries, because the mulberries are going to provide a lot of the deep cover shade that's required for tropicals. So if you can see right here, that is a large mulberry, that is a large mulberry, and that is a large mulberry. So those are keyed in perfectly so that the western afternoon sun, those trees block all the tropical trees that are behind it. So now you can put in your mangoes and your avocados and your bananas and all these other plants that you guys are interested in. You can put them in easily, but not until you get some cover, okay? So you need some trees that are gonna grow fast and produce fruit for you. And mulberries, if everyone in the valley doesn't have one of these yet, I'm not sure what's going on, because oh my gosh, the fruit is amazing on mulberries. Ask anybody that's ever tried them. What do they taste like? A mulberry, okay? Sort of a blackberry, but there's no way to actually describe mulberry except for mulberry flavor, which is very unique and very delicious, okay? I carry many varieties of these. These are the long Pakistani blacks. I've got some whites. I've got some Shangri-Las, which are gonna have a lot larger of a leaf on it, okay? But look how green and beautiful these look this time period. They've just woken up. Everybody looks gorgeous, okay? So the mulberries absolutely look incredible, and this is a very good tree to start with to give you guys shade. The pears will also provide shade. This is another good shade tree, okay? So these are climate building trees. These are gonna work really well for you in the beginning, okay? So we've got pears and we've got mulberries. Okay, let's jump to the next one here. Okay, so the next one here is going to be olive trees. And olive trees are an evergreen tree. So they always have leaves, they always look green, they always look beautiful, and it's very hard to kill an olive. In fact, if you kill an olive, you have to immediately stop gardening, okay? Because these are easy, right? Now you can see how green it looks even in the winter. And now you can see the millions upon millions of blossoms that are on this tree. This is going to pump on thousands and thousands of olives, okay? Now, if I never watered this plant at all, ever, it would be the same minus the flowers. So if you want one and you don't want it to fruit, well, then just don't water the thing and it'll abort most of these flowers. Otherwise, it's going to set them. So this tree happens to be literally right on the street, okay? So it's the first tree that experiences anything in the yard. And you can see that it is beautiful and huge. This thing has gotten quite large, and it fills in a good portion of the afternoon shade for the rest of the yard. So you can see here, we've got street, hot, dirt, dry everywhere, coming off the streets, all that hot wind. And so now you have an olive here that's gonna take the brunt of it. Also, who doesn't like olives and who doesn't like olive oil? Okay, so extremely productive plant. But this is probably the strongest plant in the video, because this one, you could just never water at all and you would have at least a plant. Don't expect very much fruit. And also remember, you can keep these a little bit smaller. This is in a 4-foot section. So 4 feet, I got my mailbox, 4 feet, and then it goes to the next tree, which has 4 feet of room, which happens to be, in this case, a neem tree, which happens to be next in that 4-foot section. And then all the way down the row in 4-foot sections, we've got trees here, okay? And you may think that that much room is not enough for trees, but if we look at some of these full-size trees, here we have a plum. It has 4 feet, and you can see he goes on up. Let me see if I can get this in way up there. So full-size plum tree in a section that is only 4 feet. Huge tree, you see that? Same with all of them, really. Apricot down here, guava down here. And super productive, meaning being that close to each other is not actually a detriment, it's actually a benefit. And man, the fruit holy moly, holy moly. This thing is just covered. I know it's kind of hard to see in the video, but this tree is soaked with blooms, okay? So just a little bit of space, guys. I don't want to hear any complaints about them running out of room. You got 4 feet or a little section, you got room. You got room to put another tree in there that'll give you some protection, okay? So let's go over them again. The first one is pears. The second is mulberries. The third is olives. And since we're sort of in this same little section too here, let's go over the fourth one, which is going to be pomegranates. Okay, pomegranates is another one of those plants where we say if you kill a pomegranate, you have to immediately stop gardening. You have a black thumb at that point because you almost have to try to kill a pomegranate plant. Okay, a pomegranate is a bush. It is not a tree. When you see it in tree form, it's because somebody has created a tree out of them. But they actually like to grow like a bush with multiple stems, which is really going to help out when it comes to wind resistance on these plants. You want them a little bit, you want them multi-stemmed here in Arizona. When you get into these central leader trees, you start creating problems, especially with wind. So you can see that this is a Chiku sapote, off topic from our 5, but you can see that it has branches everywhere, and they divide and they divide and they divide, spreading the weight of that wind shear, which can be, man, up to 100 miles an hour lately, it seems like. And see, they do really, really good. This is a tropical tree only getting afternoon sun, but the reason it's doing so well is because it's got multiple branches. Believe it or not, if this was a single trunk tree, it would not, well, it probably wouldn't even be alive. So let's go back to the pomegranates and the multi-trunks. I think that that's very important on your trees here. Or if you are going to have a trunk, you're going to want a very short trunk. So you're going to want, you know, a 6-inch to 12-inch trunk on the tree before the tree actually starts to divide. So this is going to be the fourth one on the list. I got some little star fruit back there. See them, guys? Got some star fruits. Okay, so this is number 4, pomegranates. And know that there are a million good varieties of these, and the wonderful is not it. It's not the best. It's not even good. To me, the wonderful is a tart pomegranate that has hard seeds, and it's excellent for juicing. Okay, I'm not juicing pomegranates typically. If I do, it's probably not even going to be that variety. These are dessert varieties, or they're called dessert varieties because these are sweet, guys. These are not the pomegranates that you're used to eating where they're sour. These are sweet and they almost have no seed. So now you're not spitting out all these hard seeds and pounding on the back of your fruit with a spoon trying to get all the fruit out. With dessert pomegranates, you just eat them. You cut them open and you eat them out of hand, and even a lot of the white stuff around the seeds that's sort of bitter is not even that bitter on the fresh eating ones. So it doesn't matter if you get a little bit of that in your mouth because you're not gonna spit it out like it's bitter. So people are so used to, oh God, I guess they're used to the commercial varieties of these things. And let me tell you, not only are you getting 1/10 of what's out there, but you're not getting the best variety of that plant either. You're getting the strongest fruit that's gonna transport, okay? And so you're missing out on all the good stuff. So the grocery store has neutered you, guys. Even Sprouts and Whole Foods and all these places that have stuff that are maybe a little bit better quality, there's no better quality than what you grow yourself. And also keep in mind that you need to eat far less of it to do the same thing. So a good for instance of that is, let's say I grow my own homegrown apples. One of those and you're full, and it's dense full of nutrients. If you go get one at the store, it's going to be bland, have no flavor, and you could probably eat 2 or 3 apples before your stomach has ever been signaled that you even ate apples. Okay, So now you're eating less to get the same nutrition and a better quality food. And trying to explain that to somebody is very tough, especially when they put eating as the lowest priority on their list. Guys, I don't know how this has happened, but it used to be everyone sits down and enjoys good meal and high quality ingredients, and now it's whatever I can stuff in my face the fastest. So people are literally giving priority to things like eating. They're now making that a 5-minute drive through at Jack in the Box, and you can tell it's affecting their brains. People are what they eat, and you can tell people that are eating nutritious foods because their brain generally is working overall better, right? And you also want to start to cut down on some of the instances of anxiety and depression. Well, a lot of that has to do with the foods that you eat, right? And how stressed out those animals were and how stressed out those plants were, right? When you eat them. So things that are grown a little bit, local or slower grown or grown organically, why do you think those things are better? And why do you think people need to eat less of them? So, sorry, got a little bit a side askew here because this video was supposed to be on these 5 trees, but it's sort of a learning lesson in the way that we do things, guys. We need to start to do things a little bit better, and we also need to focus our time on things that are more important, like eating and getting good quality food, and stop putting that to the side. And your sleeping too. It's like people have really done a number on themselves. You need to eat good and you need to sleep good. And how do you expect your brain to work good without those things? Okay? Pomegranates. Moving on. Okay, so the last thing on my list is going to be citrus, of course. And citrus has a million different benefits that people don't realize that they have. So not only are you getting a beautiful tree, but you're getting fruit, really high quality fruit, right? These are beautiful. These are tango mandarins. These are one of the supreme mandarins that you can actually get, right? Seedless, genetically seedless, sweet as can be. It'll just knock your teeth out. It's so sweet. They're easy to peel. That skin comes off in just a second. This doesn't take much. And if you don't think kids like these, then, well, you must not be a kid yourself, because I enjoy these as one of my favorite citrus because I'm into the rare, weird citrus, not just lemons and limes, guys. Holy crap. The amount of variety of citrus is insane, and we can grow them all here. So why aren't we doing this, right? So I like to focus on the weird ones. I like the mandarins and the blood oranges, especially caracaras, pink lemons. I like the kind of cool ones. I'm not into the plain old. But man, this thing is loaded. Holy moly, the amount of fruit that I'm going to get on this season is insane. And I'm still eating the ones from last year. And these will actually, if I leave them alone, they'll sit on here till May. So I've got another couple months that I could eat the fruit that are on it. Meanwhile, the new ones are coming on. So citrus, guys, citrus. This happens to be a tango mandarin. I've got them all over the yard, and there is nothing, let me back that up, nothing is going to provide the humidity that these provide. So if you want a food forest eventually, and you want mangoes and avocados and all this stuff, and you want to do it easy, right? Not struggle. We struggle enough. I don't think we need to struggle with these. Nothing's better than citrus, because citrus is going to provide a humidity, a blanket around them and your yard. So imagine if a citrus, okay, think about it like sweating, okay? They sweat all day. You're putting water in, they're sweating, they're cooling their environment right around them with this very fine mist of moisture. that you can't see, but it's still there. Now you've got the hot wind from Arizona that comes in and blows it off, right? Now you're hot and dry again. So now this will start to cool again, and you'll get almost like a swamp cooling effect. Ding! Through your whole yard, because you've got all this cool green and of course moisture on the ground and wood chips and mulch. And it's acting as a buffer, guys, and it is 10 to 20 degrees cooler here in the summer than it is in other yards. And this has a lot to do with your evergreens. Your evergreens. Your other stuff's going to go dormant. It's providing no help. Okay? Deciduous trees do nothing. Nothing. Okay? I'm really getting kind of a little bit tired of that too, of like, hey, your food forest is doing so good because you have all these canopy trees above you. All those canopy trees go dormant. Okay, so you're going to be looking at stick figures above you, and therefore they do nothing to provide help to the plants below them. Your biggest benefit in the winter, if you're wanting to grow winter fruits or tropical fruits like dragon fruit, right, and have no problem, is you're fixing the soil. So you're heating from below. Look at these goji berries. I mean, these things look amazing, and they really kind of should have got frozen to sticks, and they should have gone dormant, right? But beautiful, beautiful new growth even on these goji berries in the middle of the winter. Why? Because they got warmed from below. They got warmed from below. Nothing above them helped. What, the frozen Barbados cherry that lost all its leaves also? Did it help? No. So there's a couple things going on there. But citrus, guys, citrus, 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 you can't have enough, and you can't have enough varieties. And I know most of you have lemon, lime, grapefruit, okay? I know, but holy moly, there's a lot more to do than that. So, all right, guys, that is the end of the video for today. Today's was 5 trees that you can grow relatively easy in Arizona or in the desert that is going to get your food forest started relatively easy. That is the goal of this video. Now, all those 5 trees happen to be in the tier 1 group of trees. Tier 1 are going to be the stronger trees. Tier 2 are going to be things like mango trees. Okay, and tier 3 are going to be things like avocados and lychees. Okay, so if you want to grow all that together, you're going to have to start with the stronger stuff. I'm going to do another video here a little bit later once everything kind of wakes up and puts on fruit, and we will go over the top 10 tier 1 fruit trees, which are going to cover things like figs, which are not in this video, which you may think this is one of the stronger trees for down here, and it is. It is in the tier 1 group, but it is not bulletproof like these other 5. In fact, you get big enough fig leaves in the summertime and you're going to scorch and burn up your fig also, okay? So that's why that one wasn't included, and some others. So I would start by writing down these 5 as sort of your getting your started for your fruit and your shade, and then you can move on from there. Like I said, I'll be doing another video on tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 because I realize I've never done a video stating out what those trees are, okay? So I just expected, I don't know, I guess I just expected it to be somewhat common knowledge because we've been doing this a while, but you have all the newbies, the new people that don't know all this stuff. So every once in a while, we have to kind of go back. Ooh, the cotton candy apriums. Oh man, that's a good fruit. We kind of have to go back once in a while. Oh man. And refresh people to get them started because they're starting from scratch. And this really wouldn't hurt a lot of you actually that have been doing this for a while, because I still get questions on a lot of these things and I know them, so I don't think about them. But then somebody tells me, hey, you know, you probably should just do a video on this so you're not saying it 10,000 times. So here's one of the first videos. So, all right, guys, that is it. I have talked your ears off for enough. I'm just super talky. This is my first video for spring, and I am excited to get going and get everyone else going. So come on by the nursery, guys. Arizona Fruit Trees. I am in East Mesa if you live in Phoenix. And you can find me on Google. And come on by and I can give you some advice on some things. And if you're interested in plants, I have some plants that are available. Some of the best quality plants on the correct root stocks. And not only that, that will provide you really good food. So Arizona Fruit Tree Nursery is the name of the place, and we can provide tons of information for you. You never have to buy here. We just want to get people going and get them as excited as we are about getting a little bit of their food independence, because it's coming, guys. It's coming. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe.